The most common mistake that I see most OnlyFans creators is not niching themselves down. And that's such a big problem because a lot of OnlyFans creators and even agency owners, when they're trying to get their creators off the ground, they're basically having them run around like headless chickens because they don't have a niche, meaning that you're basically just making content that relates to nobody. And when you're doing that is going to lead to one thing, that is no engagement whatsoever on your platforms, your videos, etc. Because no one has anything to relate to when you're making your content, so they're not going to interact with it. That's why niching down is so important, and that's why actually niching has helped a lot of creators grow rapidly and branch out into different avenues, due to the fact that they were able to build an audience off of the niche that they picked at the beginning of their career in OnlyFans, and from there build on top of that foundation, because people were relating with the content that they were making, and thus boosting their engagement, boosting their likes, increasing their followers, making the videos go viral, and ultimately increase their revenue on OnlyFans because of that traffic that they're gaining on socials. When it comes to niching down, a lot of people do get scared about the idea of it, because it can be kind of scary, because you're like, okay, what is going to be my identity on the internet for XYZ time period, right? So you do want to make a smart choice. However, it's not as complex as you may think it is, because when you niche down is essentially just finding something that you can stick with for the long term and just rolling with that. And that means something that you're comfortable with, that you're familiar with the topic, because if you're niching down a topic that you don't know anything about, you're easily going to flop. And third of all, something that you can actually commit to on a daily basis, because you need to be consistent, because consistency is key. So if you're not able to stick to the niche that you're setting yourself up for at least 3 to 6 months, then forget it. You're going to burn out real fast, and then things are just going to start crumbling down. So keep that in mind, very important. Nonetheless, when it comes to niching, you can basically just pick whatever topic that you genuinely like. Like if you like golfing, niche yourself in the golfing niche. If you like basketball, if you like basically painting, if you like singing, etc., niche yourself in that. Use your hobbies, your personal interests, and things that you genuinely like in your everyday life, and bring it into your internet persona. You don't necessarily have to show people 100% your real personality. However, if you use your some common interests that other people may like, and you turn that into content, then you'll see yourself actually enjoy what you're doing on a daily basis, and on top of that, be able to be relatable with the people who are going to watch your content in return. Depending on the quality of your content and how well you make it, you'll definitely get the views, engagement, and the traffic to your OF ultimately with that. So I listed a few examples prior, so we can list out even more. Golfing, you could do cosplay, e-girl, gamer girl, you can basically be tennis player. The list goes on, but basically sit down, think about all the different hobbies out there that you like and that you personally do, and then on top of that, look at socials, look at what other niches that you may come across on socials. Like I've seen people doing construction, country, people also diving into the whole skits, parodies, etc. So these are all different things that you can do and implement in your content to keep it, one, fresh, and two, unique to yourself, because you're probably the only one doing it. If for example you're in a niche of somebody, I don't know, imagine your niche is being a zookeeper. There's not many zookeeper OF creators out there, so if you come into the space showing that type of content, that can be a wow factor for a lot of people and get them intrigued about your page, what's going on, and ultimately follow you, be a part of your fan base, And that way you can grow that foundation, which is your fan base, and keep rolling with that for the long term. So that's why niching down is super important, especially if you kind of think outside of the box of your common niches and look into things that people aren't currently doing right now, and focusing on that, you'll see yourself just explode. And if you're actually, aware of your surroundings and what's going on in the space, you definitely do notice some of these creators who are in the more unique niches and just completely blowing up on socials because of the fact that what they're doing at the moment, nobody else is doing. So definitely, if you're not already in a niche, take a step back, sit down, and think about, okay, what direction should I lean my content towards for the next quarter, next 2 quarters of the year, and how can I make this so that I don't get burnt out, I push something unique, and I can generate content that makes people relate with me and that's potentially funny, whatever. So once you figure that out, definitely go hands-on, full force, and start making that content, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. Because without that content, you're not going to get traffic into your OF and you're not going to make revenue, because marketing is honestly 70% of the job and OF itself is like 30%. So if you can master that 70%, then you're good to go for the rest. And nonetheless, that's what we're doing personally with all our creators at the moment, just finding the right niche for them and putting them in there, finding all the different ideas that they can do, basically brainstorm new ideas based on the niches that we found, and ultimately figuring out a concrete posting strategy that works for them and pushing them towards that next level. With that being said, if you have any questions, just DM me on my socials, and take care, guys.